There you are, you little gecko. You little cutie.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blindstryke Exotics. As you can see, I'm holding a piece of corkwood with a new little pet here, and we sort of have a new setup. We got a nice TV here that I can do some videos with, that I can show, you know, different pictures from Instagram or different highlights that I want to show you guys on the TV. We got a new corner here that hopefully lends itself better to making videos. A dedicated area for YouTubing, for social media. Got a little plant there in my banner. And I have a little cold, so my voice is a little raspy, so excuse that. But today I actually want to talk about something that I really haven't talked about a whole lot, which is the different pets that we have here at in my snake cave. The pets that we don't really necessarily plan on breeding. Things that I've just kind of always wanted since I was a kid, that I never could have or afford, that weren't available. And the best place to start with that is this little Lychee that I have right here, and I can try to bring him or her a little closer. Now, as a little kid, growing up in Pittsburgh here, I was a big fan of the Pittsburgh Herpetological Society, and joined and kind of went to all the reptile shows and stuff that were local, 30 years ago. And the New Caledonian giant day geckos were always one of those things that I saw in all my books that I fell in love with, that I thought would be the coolest thing in the world to have. Because back then, 30 years ago, a lot of the animals that you could acquire that were reptiles were either, anoles or day geckos or leopard geckos and things like that. And having, a gecko that could get as big as the size of your hand was always something that was like really cool to me, that I always kind of dreamed of having. So I actually just got this guy yesterday, and I'm kind of enthralled with it. He's still a little jumpy, so I'm going to kind of just leave him here on the wood. I don't want to scare him because he's still trying to fly all over the place. But first night here, he's already eating his food. He's got a Pangea. He is liking his new setup, which is really, it's actually right here off screen, but it's actually kind of really the first ones that's like kind of really decorated for one of the pets. But so he's the newest addition to Blindstryke Exotics, and I can't wait until he starts growing up a little more and he starts taming down. But he's a beautiful little gecko, and he's the newest pet in the first one we're going to look at today. Next up here is my black rat snake. I posted a picture of this a day or two ago on Instagram saying it's my little garbage disposal, because all of the smaller rodents that my ball pythons don't eat, this guy eats. I got it as a hatchling last summer, and the thing doesn't miss a meal unless I can't find it. Usually when it's in shed, goes into hiding behind the styrofoam screen, the styrofoam background in the Exoterra, and has a hard time smelling the prey items. But if it's awake or if it's out and I put a rat or mouse in front of it, it eats it. But growing really fast. And I don't know if you've ever seen these as hatchlings. They have kind of a lot of gray on them. And if the camera will pick this up here clearly, you can still see sort of kind of a little bit of the gray pattern on them. But as it sheds, each time it sheds, it's getting darker and darker and darker. So I'm hoping that it gets pretty close to jet black by the time it is an adult, which is going to be a while. But it's big now, not super big. These things can get huge, like 7 feet, I believe. And they climb very well too, so I like to get a kind of a vertical enclosure for him. But that's pet number 2, my black rat snake. Next up here is my Brazilian rainbow boa mini. I don't know if you can see on the back here. They kind of have a little mini pattern going down her back. I've had her since she was a hatchling. I think she's 3.5 years old at this point. I actually have a male for her too, and I've kind of left them to try to breed. I haven't had any success yet, but I'm hoping for some of these babies at some point. But she was actually another one of those animals that I fell in love with from a very young age, and that was very excited that I was able to acquire. She is, I would say an adult at this point. She has a really good size to her. She's, extremely long, probably close to, if not the longest snake in my collection at this point. You wouldn't know that by the way she coils up here on my hand, but she is actually a very, very, very long snake, full-grown rainbow boa. She's extremely pretty. I believe she just shed. She's usually a little more red than this, but as you can see, she still has a decent amount of color on her. Beautiful, beautiful snake. Next up is Dingo, my blue-tongued skink. I honestly think these are fantastic beginner lizards. They get to a decent size. They eat very, very easy diet, which is like wet dog food. Very easy maintenance requirements for them, and they're not super flighty. They like to be kind of held with two hands though to keep them kind of. He's making me a liar because he's actually trying to get away right now. And they're extremely docile. I would say probably, I actually owned one of these back when I was a kid, like 20 years ago. So this is my second one, and literally the easiest lizards to kind of like tame down that I've ever had, even more so than leopard geckos. And they get this nice big potato-y looking size. They're sort of goofy looking animals, but they're really good pets, and they get a good size, and there's something that a little kid can hold. They do have sharp, scratchy claws, but the two that I've owned have never even tried to take a bite at me or even done their blue tongue display where they flare out their tongue and hiss at you. Plus they have these cool blue tongues, and they sort of have like kind of purple eyelids too, so blue tongue skink is an awesome animal and an awesome pet. Next up is my cherry-head redfoot tortoise, Raph. I believe that I got this guy or girl last summer. Let me see if I can get this to focus on him here. Growing really nice. As you can see, it has like the super bright red scales there on the head and on the feet. The cherry heads are, in my opinion, just really awesome compared to what a normal redfoot tortoise looks like. It really does keep the red colors in the head. He's being really shy for some reason. He usually pokes his head out. But he's growing good. He loves his veggies. I've been trying some of the like the Missouri tortoise diet for him. Doesn't seem to love it. I also tried the Zoo Med stuff with colored pellets, and he didn't seem to like that either. But man, give him some lettuce, some romaine lettuce, and he's a big fan of it. But he's grown big, fast. Probably, I would say, probably doubled in size so far since I've had him. Getting big and healthy. So there's the. And the name is Raph. We didn't know if it was a girl or a boy. Obviously, Raph for Raphael, Ninja Turtles. I'm thinking it's a boy, but if not, I guess Raph, the name could swing either way. Last up here is Scarlet, my red-tailed boa, BCC. So it's a true boa constrictor, red-tailed boa. This girl's gonna get enormous. They can get upwards of 10 feet. She is growing fast, and she's my other snake garbage disposal because I usually feed her at last after the ball pythons have had a chance to refuse their food, because she never refuses food. And she's at the size now where she's eating close to the same size rodents as some of my bigger ball pythons. She's growing extremely fast, very, very strong. You guys, depending on where you come from in the snake world, you know, ball pythons they call them pet rock because they kind of just sit there. They don't really coil up on you a whole lot, and they just kind of hang out. When you get a boa, and my rainbow boas are the same way, they like to hang on to things. They're kind of semi-arboreal. As you can see, you know, she's reaching for the sky. She's always coiled up around my hands or my arms, and they have a very tight grip. So even though she has never been aggressive, they're still very strong snakes, and they kind of don't behave the same way ball pythons do when you're holding them. So maybe not a snake once they start getting to this size that you're giving your kid to kind of hold by his or herself. But again, very, very easy temperament. I've never had any issues with the rainbow boas either, being bitey. Even when I had the female as a hatchling, and I've had her. She was close to a hatchling when I got her, but she has a fantastic temperament. She looks a little more menacing than a ball python does with that arrow-shaped head and those big jaw muscles. But I've never had any reason to believe that she was ever going to attack, or she's never even tried to show any aggression. But she's I'll bring her closer to the camera. She's a big girl, and she is getting big very quickly. And this is, again, kind of one of those pets where it's like a showcase animal. You know, I have all these tiny little ball pythons, and then I have this huge, someday, 10-foot boa constrictor to kind of show people what is just a normal, beautiful looking snake from Central America looks like. So those are all my pets. I didn't show you the chickens because it's kind of hard to do that at this point. They're real tiny still. I didn't show the dogs either, but maybe I can show them on a different video. But these are all of the cold-blooded pets that we have here at Blindstryke Exotics. So thank you guys for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.